How you doing there, mates? Blade Master here. Sorry. Blade Master here, going to be bringing you yet another Total War Room to online battle. This is another round 2 match in the Big Blade Balance tournament. This is fought between King of Fakes and James, who's a TWR recruit. It's going to be a Barbarian on Barbarian engagement, which is fought in Migdol, East West. And King of Fakes has taken Boii, while James has taken Arverni. Both of them picking not relatively very strong factions in round two, which means that they won't have access to their respective factions if they do progress in the tournament. Boii, brought by King of Fakes. Let's take a look. Total of 4 sword followers forming the main line, strong main line. A solitary Oathstone general. Total of 4 Celtic slingers, which is a curious choice. I think a total of 4 levy free as well. And heavy horse, 3 heavy horse, and 1 noble horse, and a total of 3 naked warriors. I have a couple of comments regarding balance and regarding armies that I'll get to right after I talk about Arverni's or take a look at Arverni's army, which is James's army. We've got 4 chosen swordsmen, 4 Celtic slingers, total of 3 Oathstone, if I recall correctly, or maybe just 2, including an Oathstone general who's a strategist general. We've got a total of 1, 2, 3 somewhere here, and a 4th heavy horse, and a total of maybe 3 or 4 levy slingers, levy freemen, levy slingers. Okay, first point. I think the barbarian engagements in Blade Balance will be more fun than vanilla. This is It's going to be a lot more subtle. The changes are going to be a lot more subtle, but will end up in barbarian engagements being a tad more unpredictable than the usual engagements. For example, in vanilla, Boii would wreck Arverni. There's nothing that Arverni can bring that would beat Boii. They both have literally the exact same, except for one difference, rosters in terms of what kind of units they can bring, except that the chosen swordsmen, the mid tier units of Arverni, will lose out to the sword followers, which are the mid tier units of the Boii. And of course, the Boii and mid tier infantry is king in Total War Rome 2. So, in that sense, no real chance for Arverni to beat Boii except if the Boii player makes a mistake or if the Arverni player out micros him. Let's talk about this in Blade Balance. The biggest change that we can see is the very reason why these both players have brought 4 Celtic slingers, and that is the buff to naked warriors. Naked warriors have scare, which brings a huge reason to bring them, because barbarian engagements are one of the biggest factors in barbarian engagements is who loses the general the first, and if you can pile on a general death of the enemy, and with the scare trait of your naked warriors, you could rout entire mainline infantry units very, very quickly. So, in order to counter that, more people will tend to bring Celtic slingers. That means now you have Celtic slingers, which are units that can be destroyed by a roaming heavy horse, and you have naked warriors that can be destroyed by Celtic slingers and by heavy horse. So, you have at least 5 to 6 slots in your 20 slot limit that will be spent on non tanky and kind of risky units. So in that sense, it would be a tad more unpredictable than in vanilla. Still, I don't see how Arverni would be able to beat Boii. And now we come into the overarching thing about balance. Many people say that Blade Balance isn't truly balanced because the game is only truly balanced when, you know what, I'm going to pause this because I'm rambling, but whatever. Blade Balance the game can only be called balanced if any faction can beat another faction, or all factions are basically the same in terms of strength. That is not possible in a game like Rome 2, where you have where you have so many factions, and each faction has its own unique flavor, and most factions have their own unique flavor. So it's just impossible. That's why a concept like outpicking someone with a faction exists. By going with Arverni and going with Boii, Arverni never stands a chance. But there are many other factions that can pose a huge threat to Boii that James could have instead picked. He decided to stick with Arverni, and that is a questionable choice, I have to say. Now we can see Heavy Horse charging into Chosen Swordsman. We saw a great move here where the Levy Freeman took the brunt of the charge from the Chosen Swordsman, and then the Naked Warriors came in, but the Celtic Slingers were already firing into them. All across the field, looks like the Levy Freemen are absorbing the charge, and then King of Fakes is letting his Naked Warriors with the single XP Chevron already charge into already engaged units. The sword followers here are going to destroy the chosen swordsman, especially this sword follower here against this chosen swords, which not only got a clean charge, but and this one where the heavy horse helped out by getting a frontal charge against the chosen swordsman. Naked warriors here are starting to lose, but they've gotten a lot of kills on the chosen swordsman. The problem with naked warriors is you need to use frenzy if you want to kill off a very competent, mid-tier unit in the chosen swordsman. Here you can see this naked warrior has gotten frenzy off, which means they've gotten a lot of kills on this oath sword. They've almost gotten a double XP chevron just from that charge. Beautifully done. That's the biggest. That's the thing about a frenzy charge. Here, this naked warrior has almost gotten an XP chevron as well. Heavy horse here getting engaged should be pulled out by James. The Celtic slingers are meanwhile firing into the heavy horse, killing off the maneuverability. Smart move there. The naked warriors are dying though, so the flanks are starting to not look too great. There's a noble horse here, which is a surprising pick from King of Fakes. And now he's going to try and use this heavy horse to catch the slingers, but he needs to be aware of the chosen swordsman. The chosen swordsman pulling back, and here this naked warrior is actually getting a charge in on the oath sword and then catching all of them. Okay, the heavy horse got caught for Boii. And the naked warrior is saying, I've gotten a double XP chevron. 73 kills, they fucked up that oath sword. Especially with that heavy horse helping out. But honestly, that naked warrior really just wrecked shit up. And Levy Freeman have finally killed it off, but they've more than paid for themselves there. This naked warrior popped frenzy a little bit too late. King of Fakes did. Heavy horse here getting stuck. And this heavy horse as well stuck. But it isn't really pulling through because the chosen swordsmen are not really, in combat. Where are the chosen swordsmen? Anyways, the heavy horse for James is trying to chase after them. He is getting onto the Celtic slingers now, and the Celtic slingers are wavering and dying. And this heavy horse here has rear charged this sword follower, and heavy horse on heavy horse action, and that's going to lead to the Boii winning that battle because the sword followers are there to support. Excellent use from with the naked warriors here. This one hasn't done too well because you need to get frenzy off properly, but all in all it doesn't look very good for Arverni, and that is to be expected. The oath sword here now dropping headhunt and battle rhythm, but it's not really against the right opponents. It's the Levy Freeman again used masterfully there by King of Fakes, absorbing the charge of the oath sword and then letting the sword followers move in and just destroy that heavy horse. Now that there's no unit that's impeding them, they can pull back and they can use the heavy horse can come in and just charge into the chosen swordsman there. The oath sword here doing very well. They really should rear charge this oath sword there, and this heavy horse should come in and kill off the Celtic slinger. The other the King of Fakes' Celtic slingers are getting killed off by a heavy horse, but that's not really the biggest issue because it doesn't look like the Celtic slingers will be of much use. Instead, you should try and focus on killing off the Celtic slingers for James, especially now they can just rear shoot this oath sword general. And the chosen swordsman here taking the charge from the sword followers. Not looking very good for James, I have to say. Also in here, very tired, not popped second wind. The noble horse have not done well. It's usually not a good idea to bring noble horse against enemy barbarian factions. The sword followers here have done decently enough against Oathsworn. Is this that Oathsworn that's still... No, that Oathsworn's basically dead, right? No, this horse, it still remains at 34 men. That's that excellent morale coming into play. Chosen swordsman here dropping shield wall. They don't have the greatest armor, greatest morale, so they are going to waver pretty soon, especially since they're getting gangbanged by a bunch of really strong units. Sword follower in shield wall against Oathsworn not in shield wall. Sword followers will do well. They're losing that battle and they're getting rear charged by a heavy horse. Honestly, yeah, that's the biggest thing that Boii has going for them. The sword followers are just so goddamn strong. I believe they have 65 morale, don't they? Yeah, they have 65 base morale. Holy shit. That is 5 less than units that cost like from 1000 to like 2000. No, sorry, 1000 to like 1500, 1300. Sword followers are obviously going to win the day for the Boii. And the Oathsworn for Arverni they'll do well now against depleted units, but It's not going to be enough. Yeah, there were three Oathsworn brought by Arverni. That's They wanted to specialize. They wanted to max out on their infantry killing power by just destroying the sword followers with quality. But unfortunately, that great work of King of Fakes using his naked swords, naked warriors, to destroy one of the Oathsworn has put a massive dent in the plans of James. The chosen swordsman routed, and he actually the enemy, the King of Fakes' Oathsworn, has gotten rear charged by a fresh Oathsworn general of Arverni. So the this Oathsworn should do a lot of damage now, but not going to be nearly enough. This game is basically wrapped up. The heavy horse of Arverni has done decently, killing off a lot of the slingers, but the Levy Freemen are just going to chase after them and poke them until they're dead. Oathsworn here, 74 kills. This battle it's not going to lead to anything. It's just an isolated battle, isolated engagement that's not going to change anything in the game. Oathsworn has done a lot of damage actually. This the Boii Oathsworn, since they got attacked in the rear, taking a lot of damage, and as well the Celtic slingers were getting good shots on them. 32 kills, almost a single XP chevron. Heavy horse here, no real reason to use frenzy charge, but in any case they're going to dispatch the Celtic slingers. Oathsworn with sword followers with 70 men here, killing off a Levy Freeman, and one Oathsworn at 32 men left here. This Oathsworn is getting destroyed by Celtic slingers. So many Celtic slingers firing into their rear, so they're going to do a lot of damage there. Honestly, the only place where Celtic slingers are going to do well is by throwing rocks at people's bums. So yeah, now they're dropping really quickly. The sword followers might just stay on at the end of this engagement. The Oathsworn are just getting ripped apart by Celtic slingers. Levy free on levy free action there, as is tradition in a barb on barb engagement. Seems to be one solitary sword dude here. The Levy Freeman captain, maybe? The one Levy Free who doesn't have a spear. Shame on him. Let's put this back on regular speed. Still 1 minute and 23 seconds left, but this game is basically over. Oathsworn down to 39 men. That could be an interesting thing, but the sword followers again have good enough morale that they'll stay even if their general is dead. Yeah, almost a triple XP chevron with this Oathsworn, but they are now dying because of sheer force of numbers for the Boii. Again, due to their sword followers being what they are. The second best, maybe even the best mid-tier infantry in the game. Costly victory for King of Fakes. Well played to James. I really loved the use of the sword followers. This one sword follower really changed the game there. The third Oathsworn could have been a huge game changer for Arverni. We could see how close the battle was getting at the end of the day. James did well with one of his heavy horse, dispatching the Boii Celtic slingers quickly, but some of them still remained. So did the heavy horse for King of Fakes also did well. Some of them got some decent frontal charges, and dispatching the Celtic slingers early enough was a big deal. Yeah, but besides that, it was this Noble Horse by King of Fakes. I wouldn't really suggest anyone bring Noble Horse unless you just want to do it for the memes against an enemy barbarian faction. No real use for these guys. I think they found a new use against pike builds. So that's another cool thing, cool little side effect of me changing pikes in blade balance. But yeah, fun game to watch. Pretty standard. Boii I at least expected Boii to win this game just through their roster superiority. But yeah, fun game anyways. Hope you guys enjoyed it and stay tuned for more.